Hey buddies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon. Today this is an introduction to do with the podcast relating to the AmassGames channel. So if you want to watch a video on how to play a board game, amongst other things, you can head through and see that via YouTube. If you want to see pictures, you can head through and see it via Instagram. If you want to hear discussions, maybe with other people, I've got friends that I'll be gaming with who you'll be hearing on this podcast. If you want to hear myself talk about the latest news, latest board games I've been playing or looking forward to playing or will be playing, as well as some old classics and games you may not have even heard about, then this is the place to check it out. There's also a guild, so if you have any questions, maybe, thoughts on a different style, maybe there's a certain content that you want to hear about, then of course do let me know. So I'm sat in my armchair right now looking at about a sixth of my collection. I'm looking at the main set of games that I'm playing recently, games I'm looking forward to opening as well. From such publishers as Stonemaier Games, we've got Queen Games, Cranio Creations, Pegasus Spieler, Schmidt, PD Verlag, Ravensburger, we've got Undaunted, so we've got Osprey Games, spoiler alert with that one, AEG, DLP, we've got Mighty Boards, Rebellion Unplugged, WizKids, Meodas Entertainment, Hall or Nothing Board and Dice, Arcane Wonders, Direwolf, Ares Games, lots of different publishers, Elf Creek, Genius Games, so lots more I could talk to you about, but on all that kind of stuff you're going to be discovering in future episodes. So in terms of what I've been playing, let's move on to that briefly. So like I said, this is an introduction episode, but I can tell you right now that I did play a game yesterday, which is the 26th of July 2023. And the last time, because I do log my plays, I'm the only person who seems to have crashed the server, supposedly, on BG Stats, which is the app I use, amongst other things. And it was actually the 26th of July 2021. So I played it with two different groups, even though we're in the same WhatsApp group. And I used to be in 86 different WhatsApp groups. Most of them, in fact, I adminned. But with the pandemic, that seems to be streamlined into Discord, and it was a good excuse for me to actually make them much more efficient. So we played Dune. We played Dune Imperium, which happened to have the Rise of Ix expansion, which I hadn't tried before, as well as Immortality. Aside from that, the owner of this game had double-sleeved the cards. I don't know anyone else who's double-sleeved the cards yet, but I was aware of the concept to make sure your cards are really well, dust-proof and waterproof and all the rest, although technically water could get in, but extremely difficult. The cards are only 1 mil wider, so it is a tight squeeze to get them in. And it also includes some third-party extra kind of special dreadnoughts and components, or you can buy the official components as well, in a big box as well, which comes along with the proper sort of inserts, including it as well, and also the sculpted miniatures. So it did take quite a few hours to playing as a 3. I happened to play, I think I played with Paul before, and it was one of my worst experiences in the game when I first played it, because I got blocked in one of the first. My hands were the worst possible starting hands based on where other people went. And if you look up on the guild on the forums on Board Game Geek, you can see that other people said, yeah, that's the worst possible hand. And very impressed with the design of Paul Denon, especially with Clank series. However, for not having that getting playtest and being discovered, I felt that was a bit of an issue. But I thought, you know what, it's the favourite game, we've been invited out, let's go and try out this game again, especially with expansions. And it was a very close game. And I think I played again as Paul, and it's a deck building game if you weren't familiar with that concept, and it has military and war and sort of area control to a degree. There's some hidden objectives and hidden points as well, and it's a great experience. I think of that kind of ilk. I do prefer other games though, especially deck building games. I can talk to you about in another episode where there's about 25 plus that I definitely would have preferred, and it does a lot of cool things. And lots of people love it, but for me, I think that there's some downtime, and the way in which it plays out, I think it's too long for what it is. Again, everyone's entitled to their opinion, and that's why I got into board gaming as I did a number of years ago. So more about myself. Again, this is the intro episode. I've reviewed over 2,300 board games at time of recording, and I've also been gaming daily for about 5 years, and prior to that, it was very close to daily as well. One of the reasons being is I often go to Germany. And when I'm playing over there, rather than speaking, in this case it's Low German, so not even proper German, very hard to understand, it's called Plattdeutsch. It means that I can play with other people, such as people over there where they live, it's middle of nowhere, there's no tourists around for at least sort of 70 minutes to get to by car. And in that interest, it's of interest for me to say, well, we can play something, and of course, board games in Germany is pretty much the home of the modern board game with Ravensburger in about 1908. With that modern components after the parlour renaissance in this sort of the prior century. And it means that, yeah, we can have a great time, 16 plus hours a day just playing board games of various types, which of course don't need to have text on the cards necessarily. And sometimes cards which do have them on, they're easy to understand, they're not a core part of the game. So in terms of the format of these episodes, there'll be a lot of friends who will be talking about this, lots of people I game with. There'll also be some international guests. There'll be people who are in the publishing space, maybe they're manufacturers, maybe they do accessories, as well as fulfillment and distribution, amongst other areas. So lots of different things to be discussed about. In terms of other things that are being played, well, Oath, I think, is going to get played this Saturday as well. So I do have a good old Google Calendar full of who I'm gaming with the next over a month. It's like golf when I plan things 8 months in advance. Other things you can hear about include dice distancing. So rather going to YouTube to see how far dice rolls and you can actually see it bounce around, I'll be telling you the fact that I do have another video coming to the channel for that. I think that's video 81, if you haven't seen video 80. Undaunted was very popular. So that, and also another video from Board and Dice was really popular in terms of videos of how far dice roll, and Fleet, the dice game. Aside from that, there's Hexagon. So if you want to check out a post-Essen Spiel board game convention, so the largest in the world is in Germany, has more attendees than Glastonbury, the largest music festival in the UK, and I think 250,000 could well be anticipated this year, which I'll be at as well. And other games, so there is Play With Us Design, there's another game by them I'm playing, and there's also Micro Macro Crime City All In. So this is the third box, and this is the blue box. So the first one was red, obviously like the blood red, the murder stuff. The second was green for Full House. The fourth one I reckon will be yellow, and you will make a full map. So you need to go out in a kind of a reverse clockwise, as Americans would say, counterclockwise position, and therefore you'd maybe have some extra puzzles to solve as well, I'm not sure. But I did complete Full House quite recently, even though I did start it maybe a year or two ago. Other games coming to the channel soon include Pandasaurus, so you can check out more stuff by Pandasaurus Games, more stuff from Arcane Wonders, other games from Oink, amongst other publishers. So there's a good old schedule going on. There's daily, the scheduling alone is, I've already got 50 games sort of queued up, 50 days worth of content. So there has been daily videos as well for a number of years. And I do look forward to hearing from you as to anything that you feel that might be a topic to talk about. Is it around mechanisms? I know for a fact that when I get my UV for the day, when I get my vitamin D out in the sun, I'm reading another Aconite book. This is in the Legends of the Five Rings sort of series as well. So the card game itself, I'm not a big fan of compared to others in its genre, but I have read other very good books which you can find on the YouTube channel, where there's a playlist to do with board game novels. You can also find on that playlist various other playlists such as those dice distancing, how to set up, play and review videos, unboxing, teaser, trailer, preview, over videos, which are basically what is inside that box, how much does the game weigh, because I often cycle to venues when I play games. That's a chance to see what is coming to the channel soon. It might well be the day after is when the video for the how to set up, play and review goes live, but I can assure you that it hasn't simply been a case that it's been opened and recorded for that review the next day. It's usually many, many weeks go by, even if you don't see any differences. I do want to talk to you about various other games that are coming soon. So Vladimir Sushi is a very highly rated board game designer. I'm very much a designer-led board game player, and not necessarily have to be a reviewer, but as a player, if I know that Inka and Marcus Brandt have made a game, I'm all over it. If I know that I think Simeone is all over it as well, with the Renzo Il Magnifico Big Box and other such games, big into that as well. But for Vladimir Sushi, I've always found there's a slight something missing. So I have played many of his games, talking about such as Last Will and Underwater Cities. I look forward to playing, is it Praga, Kut, that game soon. But I know there's a new game, I think called Evacuation, which is coming out at Essen Spiel. Also Spiel Essen is the official title now. And I do want to check that out by Delicious Games, I believe. And there's other games there which I know that I do have Arnax, so I've got the second expansion I'm going to be getting over at that fair too. I do have 3 promos as well, which I've yet to try, but I look forward to trying those out. And I will get that pronunciation right for that Praga game, but I think that's enough to give you good indication as to what game I'm referring to there. So there's other games which are really highly rated from Devere. So I do have some other Devere games. Obviously, I believe they're based in the Catalan area of Spain in Barcelona. And you can find other games on the channel, such as Sherlock and Mycroft, it's a 2-player game. and that's a worker placement game. And I think I've got a worker placement playlist as well. So this game from them, I think it's called The White Castle. And the fourth game, the fourth most highest anticipated game based on who've rated them as must-have or are going to buy, etc., would be another game you can find on the channel, and that's Caught in Horror. Now this is from CGE, that's Czech Games Edition. It's a Czech publisher who you can see photos of myself with the publisher, as well as actually a video. You can hear him talking about me doing a video of his game. It's how to set up, play and review. And that was filmed over in a castle in Germany. I was invited to a very exclusive event as a member of the media from the UK, and I was the only, I think, English language media present, and very kindly invited as a +1. And yes, it's about basically games coming soon, about 20 different publishers, lots of games I have already recorded, and there are various playlists you can check out over on the Geek. So via Board Game Geek, head over to my Geek lists and you can see that. So wherever you search, just Google AmassGames, and then you can find me via that handle on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok as well, obviously Facebook, as well as, of course, Board Game Geek amongst other places, as well as Board Game Arena. So you can find me there as AmassGames YouTube, and there's a Discord channel, which I mentioned about as well. So what other stuff will I be playing? So in August is just around the corner. I will be playing some more Undaunted. So there's various different Undaunted ones out there. So I'll be bringing you more videos about that too. Some more Time Stories as well. So that video went live today. So this was the second cycle. This is called the Blue Cycle. I have played through a few of the games in the White Cycle, taking 6 hours to play through it as a 4, taking as a 3, it took 4.5 hours. And this game I played as a 2, and I recommend playing it as a 2. You could potentially solo these games. I don't recommend them solo, based on at least some of these missions, whereby you are very much like a Minority Report, sent back in time, wherever it might be, and you are inhabiting somebody else's body, a bit like Quantum Leap, but they're called, I think they're called receptacles. And yes, you're trying to figure out some mystery and come to a solution. So yeah, that's it. That's a wrap up. That is the intro, and there's a key thing that I like to say, as you may have watched on my YouTube videos, which is back to the table.